Hey there guys, how you doing? Back for another review here. This time it's the St-Ambroise Scotch Ale. St-Ambroise from the McAuslan Brewery in Montreal, Quebec. This is their strong beer, 7.5% alcohol by volume. If you saw my previous video where I did the beers I got at the NSLC a couple videos back, you would have seen that I was questioning whether I'd done this one before, and apparently I have not. This is a different version of their Scotch Ale. The Scotch Ale I did years ago was the McAuslan Scotch Ale. This is sort of like a rebranded version, and the alcohol's a bit higher. I guess the McAuslan one was 7.2%, this is 7.5%. See what it says on here. St-Ambroise Scotch Ales, dark ruby red, tawny head, sweet malty, yada yada yada. 7.5% alcohol, invokes the classic wee heavies, or the full-bodied 90-shilling strong ales of Scotland. And celebrate 400 years of Scottish heritage in Canada. So not just Montreal now. So it's slightly different. I guess it must be a rebranded version. I don't know if it's still a special. I think it's still a seasonal though. So we will pour it in my McAuslan glass, St-Ambroise glass. Alright. This has sort of a tawny head. Sort of tan, almost getting on the color of like yellow or cream or something along those lines. Deep ruby red the color is, with the light going through it. You could say mahogany. So go right to the smell. Why wait? Some sweet malt, slight, very slight sort of vine-like notes, grape notes. But it's very muted, not very strong at all. But what is there is basically just a malty sweetness. Smells within the range of a wee heavy. Sort of port-like. Not unlike Garrison Winter Warmer, but much more muted and not spicy at all. Alright, but it smells good. It smells okay. It's just, I was expecting maybe a bit more of a beefy aroma to it. It's not very big. So we'll go right to the taste though, see how we think. Nice heavy mouthfeel to it. More flavor than aroma, definitely. Starts out thick in the mouth. More of those heavy malty notes. Quite sweet up front. There's not, I don't think it's overly complex though. It's got those port-like characters again. Wee heavies have a lot in common, I find, with Belgian quadruples. So they're sort of along the same lines, sort of flavor-wise in their profile. This tastes a lot like Garrison's Winter Warmer. Finishes with a nice drying hops. Has a spicy edge to it. It's not deep enough though in its flavor profile where I can really come up with a lot of different flavor notes to give you. Like It feels kind of one-dimensional almost. But it's good. It does what it's supposed to do. It's definitely not as complex as the Garrison. I gotta say, Garrison beat them out in this one. Their winter warmer is much more spicy, but I guess this probably fits Scotch Ale a lot more. Scotch ales aren't necessarily really complex. They're just big malty beers with a lot of sweetness and the drying hops to balance them out. So in that regard, this is pretty much note perfect as far as taste and mouthfeel goes. But it's not, it's maybe not quite as flavorful and deep as some that I've had. I don't even think this is quite up to par with the one I had years ago. I'm going to have to check back in my review, but I think I like the one from a few years ago a lot better when it was the McAuslan Scotch Ale. Tastes good though. Nothing's cloying. Good winter beer. There's a little bit of warmth going down, but you don't taste the alcohol. You don't really detect it at all. And that's all you really need to ask for in a winter beer, isn't it? You don't necessarily need a big complex beer that you have to think about, but at the same time you want something you can slowly sip on. You could do a lot worse than St-Ambroise Scotch Ale. I do not know if this is released separately from the Discovery Pack. I assume it is. I assume maybe it's still released in those tubes, specialty tubes or whatever that they put out. Hopefully it's released in 6-packs. I'd actually buy a 6-pack of this. I'm going to give it a 4. Just a 4. Say it almost like a low 4. Like, it's not complex enough, it's not deep enough to make me think, wow, this is amazing. It's just really good, really solid, big enough to make me go, yeah, fits the style. It's really, really good. And it's a really, really good beer. Definitely worth checking out. St-Ambroise Scotch Ale. If you can find it, buy it. Cheers, guys.